Tofu by accidentally peeing in my sneaky link's mouth. Let me preface by saying I've always had a weak bladder since I was young, and lately, whenever I cough, sneeze, or gag, I pee a little. It's usually only ever a little squirt, but it is bothersome. I've gone to the doctor about it and they can't find a problem and just suggested I do vaginal exercises. That being said, last night I, 22F, was hooking up with my sneaky link, 32M. After switching through all different types of positions, he asked to 69, so we started getting to it. It was going great until I gagged a little too hard and let out a little squirt right into his mouth. I immediately got off horrified and was ready to just get dressed and leave out of embarrassment. He immediately wiped his mouth and then asked if I was good. I'm still not 100% sure if he actually knows what happened or if he's just a trooper and it didn't bother him, but after that, I told him I didn't want to do that position anymore and we just continued on like nothing happened and the rest of the time was great.
To fool by telling all my neighbors I was super poor, thinking that's how you celebrate Halloween. Obligatory. This didn't happen today, but I still cringe every year around Halloween when I think about trick or treating. Some background: my family lived in the US for about a decade before moving to Belgium in the late 1960s. At the time of the foo, Belgium was a country that did not celebrate Halloween. Come back with me if you will to the 1990s, a time of denim outfits, chocolate cigarettes and songs recorded off the radio. I am in primary school in a rural region of Belgium. Everyone knows everyone in my tiny village of about 400 inhabitants. It is the end of summer and I am planning my birthday. My birthday parties are somewhat famous, and it is mostly due to the fact that I always manage to mix a little something American into the party, courtesy of the family members who still live there. We would have cake, but then instead of apple juice my mom would bring out a bright pink, candy-flavored pitcher of Kool-Aid. Or we would make sugar cookies, but instead of basic shapes we would have access to this huge box of animal-shaped cookie cutters. This particular year, I didn't know what to do to make my birthday special. I just started planning all the basics and figured I would think of something eventually. I picked out the candy I would serve, 2 trays full, decided on the cake I would have, vanilla with chocolate frosting, and selected the music, making sure to include that one song which had a choreography I learned in dance class so I could teach everyone. It is now the big day and I have decided to improvise. By now my friends have arrived and we're all eating candy and generally being silly and having a good time. And suddenly it hits me, what better way to celebrate than to do Halloween? My mom told me once about how in the US children go around the neighborhood asking for candy. And here we are, a bunch of kids who love candy. It's perfect. Now, as I would soon find out, there was quite more to it than just going around the neighborhood asking for candy. First of all, Halloween is on a specific date, not on some random day at the end of summer. Also, and probably more importantly, the neighbors are in on it. So here we are, all putting our jackets on, and as we get out the front door I shout, "See you in a few, we're off to do Halloween." My mom somehow doesn't stop me, probably because she has no idea how wrongly my tiny mind has connected the dots from her anecdote on Halloween. I confidently lead all my friends across the street, so proud of giving them a glimpse of life in the exotic United States. I reach my neighbor's front door and ring the doorbell. The elderly couple soon opens the door and suddenly I freeze. What now? How am I supposed to get candy from them? I have to think of something fast. Everyone is watching me, and my poor brain, although it tries its best, comes up with nothing better than, "Hi, I'm your neighbor from across the street. It's my birthday today and we're too poor to afford candy. Can I have some?" The neighbors exchange this weird look, which in retrospect must have been pity, go to their kitchen and bring me back a bag of candy, along with some well wishes. I thank them triumphantly and move to the next house. Since my spiel worked, I keep using it as I go from house to house. Although every time I go to a new house, I get this feeling that something is not right. Like, really not right. I find myself skipping more and more houses and end up just cutting our Halloween short. I head home with a garbage bag, courtesy of one of the neighbors, filled with food that was nothing like I expected: incomplete candy bar multi-packs, clearly open bags of candy, a boxed Swiss cake roll, and various leftover pantry food. I come home trying to play it cool. I stack up all the food from the garbage bag on the dining room table like some weird trophy, all the while trying to understand where I went wrong. We all feel too awkward to eat any of it. And then it was time for cake. Years later, a neighbor made a comment to my mom about all her hardship when I was growing up, and she realized that this whole time our village believed she was too poor to afford candy on my birthdays.
To fool by using boiled eggs to masturbate. This just happened now. I never thought I'd have to post anything like this, but here we are. For obvious reasons, I can't tell this to anyone I know, so you're the poorest souls to read this. About 2 hours ago, I got horny and had the glorious idea to boil a few eggs and find out how many of them I can fit inside my vagina. Brilliant. Horniness makes us all do stupid things, but I seem to be extraordinarily brain dead. Oh, once the eggs were boiled and cooled down, I lay on my bed with the eggs next to me, got out a ton of lube, opened some porn videos, and got started. Egg number 1 went inside just fine. Egg number 2 followed with ease. Egg number 3 got stuck halfway in, so I started rubbing my clit as I slowly pushed the egg further in. All of a sudden, I heard a concerning crunching sound. I removed the last egg and put a finger inside me to find that my worries were confirmed. At least one of the eggs inside me had cracked. I tried pretty successfully not to panic and thought about what to do. Fortunately for this context, I have a thing for enemas and recently bought an enema nozzle for my shower hose. So I put that on my shower hose, started the water and put it inside my vagina with quite an aggressive stream. I spent about an hour flushing out pieces of eggshells and boiled egg. Lovely. Once all the broken pieces seemed to be out, I checked again with my fingers. One egg was still in there, but its shell seemed to be intact. But the egg was all the way back in there, close to my cervix. I put lube inside of me, squatted down and tried to push it out, but the thing didn't move. I kept trying in different positions, but it seemed hopeless. After numerous stupid things, I tried to get the last egg out. I used index and middle finger of both hands to hold my vagina open while I pushed, and then finally got the egg out, and it was still intact. I proceeded to go back in the shower and rinse my vagina some more, to hopefully get everything out. I don't feel any more things in there, but of course I can't be sure, so I'm a little paranoid. I am now laying in my bed and typing this. My insides feel pretty odd. But that's what I get for being an idiot. I don't think I'll ever be able to eat eggs again without being reminded of my immense stupidity. Moral of the story: don't put things inside you that weren't made to go inside you, and for the love of God, don't use eggs.
To foo by becoming a high school teacher after doing OnlyFans. I just started teaching high school this year and was super excited since it has always been my dream. I did OnlyFans for a few years right after I turned 18. I already had a pretty big following on Instagram who wanted me to do it, which in hindsight is kind of weird, so I ended up making a lot of money right from the start and I quickly blew up there. I quit doing anything public after 3 years, both because I realized that it could come back around to me, and also because I had a small group of less than 20 men who made up a huge portion of my income. So why post for millions of people to see when I can still make a huge income privately with just a small group of guys who adore me and no middleman? I don't regret doing OnlyFans. As a teacher, I probably wouldn't be able to buy a house in my area until I'm 50, if at all. Now I own a house that's worth almost $1 million, completely paid for, and I could rebuy it 10 times over and still have money left over. I'm free to pursue my dream of being a teacher without the lifelong financial struggle, so if given the choice, I'd 100% do it all over again. That said, I had hoped that after a couple years of not doing anything publicly that people wouldn't piece it together and find my stuff. I did a pretty good job of getting the vast majority of it removed from the internet. If you Google my name, nothing comes up at all. They found it before October. It's been the weirdest month of my life. I wasn't in high school that long ago, but I don't remember kids being so crazy. A couple of the boys that first found my photos literally tried to blackmail me. I made them promise not to tell anyone, but apparently it spread like wildfire anyway. I've never had so many awkward interactions in my life with boys that are way too bold for their age. I look like I could pass as a high schooler, and I think that makes it way worse. I'm 5 feet 2 inches and small, and even freshmen tower over me. I feel like if I was tall at the very least, they wouldn't be as bold. It has also made meeting parents really awkward. I was a runner growing up, and I got offered to be an assistant coach of both track and cross country, which is a pretty huge deal. At my high school, it seemed like teachers fought over coaching positions, and these just fell into my lap for nothing. But now I'm scared because you meet way more parents in after-school activities, and there are some students that are intentionally not being subtle about my past. Now every time I talk to a father who seems excited to talk to me, I can't help but wonder if he's just nice, or if he knows. Not really sure what to do at this point. I can deal with the weirdness of it right now. I'm just hoping other teachers and parents don't find out, but I'm not holding my breath. I think the best I can hope for is that I don't get fired and eventually people will forget and move on.